90% of the color of my skin is cosmetic now. And this was a personal choice, but not because it's something that's needed for the industry. It's something that I preferred, and I realized that once my skin is fairer, I then have to use lesser makeup. Unlike sitting in the chair before I shoot a movie for long, I could just put on powder and I can go. So for me, that was a maintenance issue that I wanted to do. The problem is I think Africans have become such bullies in terms of what our freedom means and what being African is.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Truetalesthoughts. So today we are going to be having a more serious conversation and reacting to some videos and comments concerning skin toning, skin whitening, skin lightening. From the more extreme names to the more rosy names, we're going to be talking about skin bleaching. On a more serious note, today we're going to be discussing skin bleaching in Africa. I am very much aware of the fact that skin bleaching is not only prevalent in Africa. There are a lot of other continents deeply affected by it. For instance, Asia, in places like India, the Philippines, skin bleaching is very rampant. Even though the historical factors behind the prevalence of skin bleaching across the board are the same, for the sake of today's video, we would narrow it down mostly to the African continent. What is skin bleaching? Skin bleaching is a process of using any kind of substance or product to reduce the production of melanin in your skin in a bid to lighten the skin. I have the impression that lately, since the term skin bleaching has become quite controversial and stigmatized, most companies that sell and produce skin bleaching products have gone with softer terms like skin lightening, skin toning, skin whitening, just so that it does not sound like skin bleaching. Oh, that's scary. When you think of skin bleaching, what do you think of? It's quite harsh. But when you hear skin lightening, skin toning, just tone it a bit. I'm not bleaching. I'm just toning my skin. Doesn't that sound nice and bougie? So beware. In my opinion, skin bleaching, whitening, toning, lightening, it's the same. It's the same, guys, especially in this day and age. Most skin bleaching products contain very toxic substances such as corticosteroids, hydroquinone, and the almighty mercury. Yes, you heard me right, mercury. Most skin bleaching products contain either 1, 2, or all of these toxic chemicals and more. Despite the fact that in most countries the aforementioned chemicals are either heavily regulated or totally banned. That being said, how do we get here? Who exactly taught us to hate our skin? Why would an African person who is born black look at their skin with so much disdain that they are willing to alter it no matter what it takes, even if it costs them their health and ultimately their life? What is it exactly that seems to have conditioned us subconsciously to hate the color of our skin so much? This perception that lighter skin is superior to darker skin precedes colonialism. In ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, lighter skin was always seen to be more desirable because lighter skin represented power, leisure, and high social standing, because the people in the higher class of the society could afford to stay indoors, while the people on the bottom of the hierarchy were those working outside, the laborers who worked in the sun. And you know how it is when you work in the sun. You eventually become tanned. Your skin will be darker than if you just spend all your time indoors. All the way back during this ancient civilization, this mentality that lighter skin is superior to darker skin was already a thing. Fast forward to colonialism. You know what they say, a clean space equals a clear mind. Are you in Middlesbrough, England looking for top-tier cleaning services? Whether you're at home, at the office, running a large industrial site or educational institution, MAG&K cleaning services have got you covered. They do it all, from residential and commercial cleanings to post-construction cleanups. Need your carpets, upholstery, or windows cleaned? Don't worry, they've got you. And the best part is, they use eco-friendly solutions to keep all your spaces clean and green. So if you're ready to take the hassle out of cleaning, give MAG&K Cleaning Services a call. And when you call them, make sure to let them know that we over here at Truetalesthoughts sent you, so that you can benefit from our promo code TTT20, TTT20, to get 20% off your first service. You know, life's too short to spend it cleaning. If you're around Middlesbrough, England, call the pros at MAG&K Cleaning Services to handle your cleaning for you. They are excellent at what they do. Give them a call and thank me later. Thank you so much, MAG&K Cleaning Services, for sponsoring this video and supporting our channel. Okay. Colonialism. Oh, the way the thing messed us up, eh? On a more serious note, the entirety of the African continent, with the exception of Ethiopia and Liberia, was colonized by one foreign power or the other. And so during this colonial era, the white colonizers brought in their standard of beauty, which put them at the top of the hierarchy. Under the white individuals were the half-caste, the cappuccino babies, mixed race, the biracial individuals. Then under the biracial individuals are probably the lighter skinned black people with more Eurocentric features. Then under those are the others, the blacks. So that's what the hierarchy looked like. Messed up, right? I could have just said the black people at the end of the hierarchy, but the reason why I make a distinction there is also because, as a matter of fact, racism has a cousin among black people called colorism. Colorism, racism's cousin, is a discussion for another day, even though we're going to touch on it to an extent in this particular video. If you were biracial or white, you were deemed to be more intelligent, more capable, more trustworthy, smarter. You just had this hollow effect based on the color of your skin. Yeah, I know that sounds really shallow and vain. Your character as a person has nothing to do with your skin color, but for some reason, that was the thing. So black people started fidgeting because here I am, I'm black, and I'm not getting as much opportunity as my peers who are biracial and white. Is being black a crime? I'm now realizing that I'm at a disadvantage because I am black. By these hierarchical systems, we were being conditioned to believe that as black people, we are inferior because and solely because of the color of our skins, which is obviously not factual at all. But what I would say is absolutely factual is the fact that this colonial mindset that had been engraved into us still lives on, even now that we claim to be independent countries. Most African countries that were once colonized have specific days of the year where they celebrate independence, yet we still act like proper slaves to the colonialization mindset. Our minds are still subjected to that mentality that we are not enough. In order to be beautiful, in order to get ahead in life, our skins, our black and quote-unquote dirty, undesirable skins need to be whitened. Even though we claim to be independent, by accepting and implying that our black skins are not good enough, we still very much figuratively bow down to the gods of the colonizers. We obey them and we accept the doctrines that they have ingrained in our minds, whether subconsciously or otherwise. We are saying, yes, we believe you, you are superior and we are inferior. We believe, we bleach to conform, and we hope to get proximity to the likeness of you, O colonizer. There's no denying that one of the tools that have been used over the years to propagate this toxic mentality that lighter skinned is better is the media, the global media. Look everywhere, on billboards, posters, music videos, among vixen girls, journalists, just the media in general is flooded with light-skinned people. It seems to be a vicious cycle. A lighter-skinned girl will be more desirable as a journalist than her darker-skinned counterpart. So she gets on TV. Consequently, we end up with a bunch of light-skinned journalists, therefore reinforcing the narrative that light skin is better. Light-skinned people are getting ahead, contrary to the darker-skinned people. And it's just a vicious cycle because they would say that's what the media wants. We are the media. We are selling a fantasy. We want proper and beautiful people on our screens. That is what the media wants. But at the end of the day, this negative mentality that has had us in shackles for decades. There's this video I saw recently of a South African actress and TV host called Kanye Bao. She's a fantastic actress. I've personally watched a few of her movies. She's phenomenal, such a character. In this video, we're going to be using a number of individuals as case studies, but this has nothing to do with them as individuals. We are only using them as case studies because their stories are out there and these stories can aid us in our illustrations. Let's just focus on learning from their experiences as we strive to understand the psychology behind this phenomenon. It is not about the individuals I'm going to be talking about in this video. It's about the phenomenon of skin bleaching. Some years ago, she was interviewed about colorism in the media space, and this is what she had to say.
are common. Someone who's been in the industry long enough to be very familiar with all of that is Kanye Mbao. She joins me now to talk about how much skin tone matters in the industry. Kanye, very good afternoon to you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Your change in appearance, in particular the color of your skin or the shade of your skin, has been the subject of much speculation, a lot of negative comments as well. How much of it is natural and how much is cosmetic?
90% of the color of my skin is cosmetic now. And this was a personal choice, but not because it's something that's needed for the industry. It's something that I preferred, and I realized that once my skin is fairer, I then have to use lesser makeup. Unlike sitting in the chair before I shoot a movie for long, I could just put on powder and I can go. So for me, that was a maintenance issue that I wanted to do.
And what do you say to people who then reduce it to having an issue with being a darker African person?
You know, the problem is I think Africans have become such bullies in terms of what our freedom means and what being African is, that now they use it against anyone, and especially darker skin tone people that then want to come around and say, this is how you should be when you're African.
We can clearly see that Kanye Mbao's skin is far from being natural. Her skin is heavily bleached and very, very far from her God-given melanated skin. But guys, who believes Miss Kanye Mbao when she says that the only reason why she bleached her skin was because she just wanted to be able to relax in her chair for a longer time before going to shoot in the movies, instead of having to spend that time doing makeup? Miss Kanye Mbao, with all due respect, don't you try it. Don't try to insult our intelligence. I've realized that skin bleaching is a topic that is quite difficult. It's quite sensitive for people to talk about, especially those people heavily involved in skin bleaching. So I can definitely understand how it would be weird for her to say, oh, I was feeling insecure about my skin, so I decided to go and bleach my skin. It's not something that is easy for people who indulge in skin bleaching to say, because remember, this is a subconscious thing. Some people bleach their skin and they cannot even articulate why they do it. But if only they take the time to reflect and think about it like really deeply, where did this come from? Trust and belief is going to be traced back to colonialism, is going to be traced back to white supremacy. So the fact that Miss Kanye Mbao thinks that she can sit here and tell us that the only reason why she decided to bleach her skin was so that she can have a few minutes before filming is ridiculous. Girl, Auntie Kanye Mbao, Auntie Kanye Mbao, I don't know how old you are. Auntie Kanye Mbao, I'm going to call you Auntie right now. That is cap. You are lying. Let me throw this analogy out there to make a point, yeah? Imagine that you're very slender. Think Naomi Campbell in the 90s. Slender girl, and you are very proud of the fact that you're so slender. You then, being so proud of how slim you are, take weight gain supplements. If you can honestly help me answer this question in the comment section down below, then we would understand where Auntie Kanye Mbao is coming from.
And especially darker skin tone people that then want to come around and say, this is how you should be when you're African. But why did we fight for freedom if we can't express our freedom in the way that we feel? And it doesn't mean when you're black you should be in beads and you should look ethnic in a certain way. You can become anything that you want. And then we all want to claim we're global citizens, but we hate it when people want to now reach out and look like a global citizen.
Does it bother you at all when you read some of what people have to say about your appearance?
No, it's actually interesting of how South Africans fear what they don't know. When people don't understand, they just hear the word bleach and then they go, oh my goodness, skin cancer, you're going to die and whatever. But technology is always upgrading itself. And if cell phones can be smartphones today, clearly skin lightening is at another level, that you don't get sick. It's something that you can actually maintain. And people then see filters and they think, no, you're too light now. You're just going out of hand. But South Africans are bullies.
First of all, I believe that if someone comes out to say skin bleaching is harmful, it's because it simply is. It is harmful. I'm not ignorant of the fact that some people will actually go and troll her, try to demean her and hurl insults at her. But on the other hand, I'm very sure that some people are just concerned. Some people are coming from a place of concern, knowing the effects of skin bleaching. And for you as a public figure to sit on a public platform and refute the fact that skin bleaching is dangerous, that is appalling in my opinion. I always say that I believe that people should practice what they preach, but not all the time. For instance, you all tell me what you think about this analogy in the comment section, yeah? I could be a thief I here running this platform could be a thief. Is it not better for me to come here and say, I'm a thief? Everybody knows me, I am a thief. But, guys, to be honest, stealing is bad. The other day, I got caught on the streets of Gaborone. They almost finished my life because of theft. Don't steal, guys. I am still stealing. I am still stealing for a living. But I'm warning you, you better not steal, because what I've been through because of stealing, it is bad. Is it not better for me to come and say that? Guys, I don't know if it's just me, but I believe that if I'm a thief and I instead come and tell you, okay, guys, I'm a thief. Look, every time I steal, I get away with it. Even though I was almost unalive in Lusaka CBD on Thursday, I come and glamorize stealing to you all and make it seem like stealing is so effortless and harm-free, no risk involved. Which one of these two is better? Which one is better, to be honest? Guys, be honest in the comment section and tell me which one is better. I believe that right now, Miss Kanye Bao in this interview is not being honest with herself. You are doing something which is very harmful, and you should be honest. At least you should be honest to say, yes, there's some risk involved. There's been some development, but it's not something that comes without risk, because these products contain hydroquinone, mercury, steroids, and all these harmful things. It is dangerous. Do it at your own risk. I would have had more respect for her if she just said it in that way. We all know that she's bleaching. At least she's not denying that. I applaud her honesty in that sense, but it's quite visible. But I would have also appreciated that she comes out to say, yes, this is what I'm doing, but these are the risks that come with it. Instead of doing that, she's trying to glorify it, which is not okay in my opinion.
To be quite honest.
What are the dangers, Kanye, of the sort of transformation that you have undergone? I don't imagine that it's 100% safe, as with anything else.
Nothing is ever safe in this life. I mean, just walking out your house is a risk. You could die. But with this, the risks are, number one, it's a lot of money. Number two is you need to know what your skin type is. You can't use what I use because your pH and mine aren't the same. Obviously, you can't be in the sun, but even naturally, you're expected not to be in the sun because the sun is harsh. So it's literally looking after yourself and using the right products for your skin.
You spoke about it being expensive. Let's ask a rude question. How much does it cost you to transform?
Look, I mean, just the IVs on its own, it's 8 procedures. And an IV can start from like 1.2 per procedure. So you can
1.2 million?
No, 1.2 as in 1,200.
Because we know...
So if you're going to do it for 5 years, you can imagine how much that is. But you need more. It's not just the IV, it's the products that you use. It's the vitamins that you need to take. So all in all, you spend about 10,000 Rand a month.
1.2 thousand Rand per IV, not to talk of the vitamins, the injections, the creams, the serums, the sprays, the oils. Let's not even get into that. I'm sure it's a whole budget. And she said in total it will cost her about 10,000 Rand to maintain her skin bleaching in 1 month. Imagine spending about 10,000 Rand every single month to maintain your skin bleaching program. That is a lot. Kanye Bao is a celebrity. I assume that she's well-to-do, she's quite wealthy, she has the money, and I'm sure she also gets endorsements and sponsorship because of her celebrity status. So my only concern right now is, let's agree that the skin bleaching industry has progressed and evolved so much in, say, the past decade. And now we have available to us these top-tier bleaching programs, packages, and systems. Kanye, 10,000 Rand a month. How many people can afford that? How many people among those girls that have the mentality that lighter skin is better can afford your top tier 10,000 Rand a month bleaching packages and treatments? Most of these girls will go down the road to some corner store in Soweto and pick up the cheapest, most accessible bleaching cream they can lay their hands on. They don't have 10,000 available to them every month to use for bleaching creams. It's just not realistic.
Oh, okay, so let's talk about the other conversation that's erupted this past week about the acting business and skin color, because there's been a debate about how the industry favors fairer-skinned actresses. You've been around well over 10 years now. Is that something that you have witnessed? Colorism is a big deal. I mean, you and I can only speak to it as black people who've experienced it. You see it even growing up. Darker-skinned kids grow up with derogatory nicknames based on just how dark they are. So is there not a danger then, based on what we've seen happen this week, in taking a big conversation such as colorism and making it about an individual, whether for or against any of the people
That's
involved.
my biggest issue, is that I feel that parents are always looking up to celebrities, actresses, musicians to raise their kids and give them, instill values into them. That's what the family does. When you raise your child between the age of 8 months to 5 years, that's your foundation phase, where you need to make your child comfortable in who they are, so that the world outside doesn't mean anything. People also forget that the entertainment industry is about aesthetic. It's about looking like something that people can only dream about. So people then want to put their values in the entertainment industry. This isn't the UN where you're trying to save lives. We are entertaining. We give you things that you can only imagine. We look like what you can only dream about. And that's what the entertainment is. It isn't a space where kids are supposed to be educated and given self-confidence. We're supposed to make you come out of your reality and dream a bit when you look at us.
I absolutely agree with Kanye on the points that parents should parent their kids and not shift the responsibility of parenting to the media. For instance, if you are raising a boy and you raise him in such a way that he understands that he's a man, he's supposed to be strong, he's supposed to protect the women around him, the women in his life, he's supposed to be respectable, he's supposed to be a proper gentleman, he's supposed to articulate his words properly, he's supposed to stay away from violence. You bring him up in such a way that he puts value on these things and sees them as desirable. Guess what? As he's growing up, although not definitely, this young man will be more likely to look up to individuals that portray these values. This kind of children will be very less likely to look at maybe some rapper rapping about violence and female dogs and irons and all of that. That kind of behavior will be repelling to that child. But if a child grew up glorifying that kind of behavior, then he's also more likely to be inclined to looking up to people who value violence and that kind of life. The THUG life. He'll be more inclined to glorifying and looking up to other adults that value that kind of lifestyle and those kind of activities. So I definitely agree with Kanye to a degree when she says that it is the place of the parents to parent the children and orientate their values in the right direction. But then again, we cannot deny that in this day and age, the media has a very big role to play. The media influences us to different degrees based on the restriction we have in place, especially pertaining to kids. So the media is always going to have some kind of influence on us, and I believe that as Africans, nobody is going to come and do it for us. We don't expect the quote-unquote colonizers to come and redo things for us, to come and fix the situation. We are the ones who have to say, okay, these are our media spaces. What do we want to portray? What are the kind of things we want to talk about? Do we want to keep pushing the narrative that fair is better, or do we want to change the narrative? I believe that it's our responsibility as Black people to say, okay, we're talking about this now. We want to educate our youth. We want to talk about this. This is what we're going to do in our movies. The director should now say, okay, I want a Black talented actress for this desirable part. I want a Black talented actress to shine in my movie. Get me some Black talented actresses for these desirable roles in my movie. It's left to us. Understandably, it's easy to swim according to the tides. But I think that at some point, for change to happen, no matter how difficult that is, we need to start swimming against the tide. And it's left to us to do that. Nobody's going to come and do it for us. Therefore, in agreement with Kanye, it starts at the home front. It starts with the family. Because who is going to be a director in 20 years? It's probably going to be this little girl that was raised at home with her parents. And the values that she was raised with are the same values that she's going to take into the work front, right? Who is going to be the directors in 30 years' time? It's probably this little boy at home living with his parents, being taught and educated in whatever way he's been educated. So what we instill in the kids as adults, as parents, is most likely what they're going to grow up to gravitate towards. Not definitely, but most likely. The entertainment space is so vast. There are loads of creators, loads of programs, loads of movies. There's a lot to choose from. And it's our values that are going to orientate our decisions. Those of you watching my channel, you are probably interested in my videos because you already have a certain mindset. There's something about me that you relate to. There's something about my content that appeals to your values. That is why you are here. So I agree with her. It's a large space. According to our values, we will choose who we want to listen to and look up to.
You see, every personality positions themselves in the way that they want. For instance, Nomza Mombata has chosen to become an activist and a spokesperson for kids, for women. She wants to stand up and say, you can look to me, and I'm just an ordinary girl that's now going around the world and touching lives. Then you find people like Casper that are about fashion, about aesthetic, about the hip-hop, the champagne life. Every individual represents what they have chosen. It's not the whole industry that is forced to be in that box. So your child needs to be intelligent enough from your values to say, I choose this person and this is what I want. You cannot be put under pressure with something that you cannot relay with. Do you understand?
But the people, I suppose, that we could put pressure on are the powers that be in television, in media, who make the decisions as to who appears in front of the camera, to say to them that it cannot be that we continue to perpetuate the stereotypes that are seeped in colorism, where, again, we continue to see people cast where beauty has to be fairer skinned.
Look, it's a sad thing, but unfortunately, that's the reality of our industry. Is beauty is what we sell. It is the aesthetic. It isn't true that if you're not light, you can't get onto TV. But yes, I know if you're darker skinned, you need to work harder to make yourself stand out. But unfortunately, that is the business. It's like when you're a doctor, you cut people for a living, and they cannot change that. You will cause pain to people because it's part of your job. In our entertainment industry, it is about looks.
What is being discussed in this video is colorism and skin bleaching, right? So the fact that Kanye, a woman who's decided to bleach her skin, is emphasizing the fact that beauty, aesthetic, and fantasy is what the entertainment industry sells, tells me a lot. So Kanye, do you think that bleached skin, lighter skin is beauty? Is that what you think is beautiful? It is about looks. So what does that mean, Kanye? Does it mean that if you are dark, automatically you are undesirable? You don't have the looks that it takes to be in the industry? That is a problem. That sounds very disturbing to me. It's about looks. Then we should not be having this conversation if it's just about looks, because there are loads of dark-skinned women who are very beautiful. Beauty has nothing to do with your skin color. Beauty is so subjective. Kanye seems to think that for you to have the looks, you must be fair-skinned. I acknowledge that colorism is a thing, especially in the media spaces. Because as I earlier mentioned, even though we claim to be independent countries nowadays, we are still bowing to the gods, quote-unquote gods, of white supremacy. That is why we still feel compelled to reinforce this colorist hierarchy by pushing the fairer skinned actors across the board in these media spaces. That is not okay.
If you want to be a sportsman, you need to work out, you need to eat right. In our industry, if you want to be a star, you need to look the part, you need to look good, you need to work on yourself constantly, and that's just what our field requires.
You need to look good, you need to work on yourself constantly. What is work on yourself constantly? What is look good? Does look good mean bleaching your skin? Does work on yourself constantly mean taking pills, taking IV drips, rubbing serums and oils to reduce the production of melanin on your skin? Is that what working on yourself constantly and looking good means?
And I think we've also messed it up because now the corporate industry, when they want numbers, they call us. And that's where the lines get crossed. Because then they now think that because UNICEF has called me in because they want awareness, then they now think this is what I do and now I need. No, it was a campaign. But in the industry, you need to look a certain part. Like in sports, you cannot be fat if you want to be an athletic. That's what it is. And we can't say now, Casta's making fat kids feel useless because he's faster and slimmer.
I suppose that's the broader conversation about what's required of one. What we're trying to drill down to at this point is that the beauty itself in entertainment, as we've seen, is varied and should be varied.
Yes, I mean, even like in the modeling industry, you need to be tall, you need to be slim. So, guys, let entertainers enjoy themselves and do what they do. If you need to look green, if you need to make your nose straighter for whatever you're selling, that's what it is. We work with cosmetic companies, we work with aesthetic companies, and that's what we do. We need to look like what we're trying to sell.
All right, Kanyimba, actress and broadcaster, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
When it comes to that, I cannot disagree with her. For instance, imagine someone selling bleaching creams. Imagine that you run a bleaching cream company. You don't want to look like the polar opposite of what you're selling. You want to look like you are bleaching your skin and it's working for you. Whatever that may look like, it's in your best interest to look exactly like what you're advocating for. I cannot argue with that. That is why I agree with Kanye when she says, train your kids to look up to the right people. For instance, as a kid, I never found myself looking up to people who lived the TUG life. That was just not appealing to me because of how I was raised. Raise your kids and instill in them the values you would like them to have. So let's read some of the comments under Kanye's video and see what people had to say. The first comment says, Kanye needs to start a political party, guys. She is so good at convincing. After listening to her, you end up being like, yeah, you're right. Imagine her telling those white people how much we need land. Definitely we'll get it. Oh my God. I know. And one thing I like about Kanye is that she's so well spoken, such an eloquent lady. I love her. The second one said, I was absolutely disoriented by this. At some points, I found myself shaking my head. Then others nodding my head, some laughing, but majority still unconvinced by what she's saying. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely places where you agree with her because for me, they're just facts, it's the reality. But there are other places where I cannot wrap my head around it. Kanye, cap, you are lying. There's some places that I had to tell her, really, sis, you are lying. This one said, despite the negative comments, I love this interview. As she said in her tweet, she is not a nanny. She's not here to raise your kids. Find another role model. Honestly, this is what freedom sounds and looks like. It's not about making sense to the next person. It's about going for everything you ever wanted without having to jump over hoops. I totally respect her decision to bleach her skin, but I still stand by my points that there's nothing wrong with saying the risks of what you're doing, if any, right? And we know that skin bleaching is risky. It's a free world. We are free. And she's definitely not compelled to do so. But we cannot deny the fact that it would have been nice for her to do so. Maybe she's not doing so because it's not in her best interest, which is okay. We cannot force her to do anything. She's in a free country. She's an adult. She's free to do whatever she wants. So we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. The next one says, she claims she bleached her skin so that she doesn't have to put up makeup, but there she is seated with her face caked in makeup. Well, what would you have me say? The next one said, the knuckles are still black. They are stubborn, hey? Love you, Kanye. That is the thing. Those stubborn knuckles will never allow some people who have skin bleaching go scot-free. That is like the flag of skin bleaching. Those knuckles, stubborn knuckles, hey? I learned that now with the injections, the IVs and the pills, those knuckles are no longer visible. They actually go away. So maybe Kanye is right when she says that bleaching has evolved, because I hear that now you can actually go and get some injections and some IVs that make those stubborn knuckles go away. Yo, it's a lot. For me, it's just not worth it. This one says self-esteem and insecurity is the root cause. Stop lying. Love you, girl. I know. That is the root cause. I believe that these people that do skin bleaching, right? You can bleach your skin, but can you at least be honest to yourself and recognize where that is coming from? Can you at least recognize that it's an insecurity? Is it okay to do that? Is it okay? This one said, I have no idea what she's talking about. We all need exposure to the sun as humans. It's vital. She's making excuses for what she's done to herself. Yes, actually, research has shown that human beings need the sun. We need our vitamin D. It's not for nothing that people that do not have the sunlight, people who live in areas of the world that do not have a lot of sunlight, are very depressed. They tend to be more depressed than people who live in say, most countries in Africa that have loads of sunlight. It's just a fact. We need the sun as human beings. We do. The sun gives you your vitamin D. It makes you happy. You are happier. You are generally happier where you have the sun. So those people that live in gloomy places, the UK, oof, it's miserable. But you need the sun to thrive. You need the sun for your happiness, not in excess amounts. I'm not saying just go into the sun now and burn yourself, but you need the sun in healthy amounts. Use your sunscreen though. Use your sunscreen. You need to see the sun, even for your eyes. If you have the luxury of having the sunlight in your country, from time to time, smudge your kids in sunscreen and send them running around in the sun for a while, you know. It makes us happy and keeps us in a good mood. The sun is good. This one said, I don't see the problem with Kanye. If she wants to be lighter, so be it. It's her body and she can do whatever she wants to do with it. That's true. I don't see any problem with her as well. She's an adult, it's her body, and she's free to do what she wants to do. There's no problem with that at all. The only thing is, I disagree with some of the things that she says. This one says, damn, this lady is so educated about skin bleaching that she defends herself so well. This one said, Kanye, I just love her. Honestly, she always gives great interviews, guys. Despite the fact that I disagree with her opinions, I just love her. Yeah, I definitely love her too. I've watched her speak quite a bit and I've watched a number of her movies. I love her the most as an actress. She's fantastic. You guys, if you've not watched any of Kanye Bao's movies, you're missing out. Oh. This one said, I don't support what she did to her skin and don't really follow the entertainment industry. But she is so articulate. That is, if you're weak, you can be swallowed by the rhetoric of supporting something that does not bring value to the African child. Simplicity is the best. Yeah. Why should you run away from your skin? Your skin is practically the biggest organ on your body. You might as well just embrace it. There is nothing wrong with your skin. The next one said, Tembikile, you're fantastic. I was 2 years old when I put a face to the amazing voice I hear on High Veld every morning. Love your line of questioning. It was so insightful and respectful. But Kanye's argument was interesting. She couldn't quite respond to the issue of colorism and problematics of attraction to the white face on African televisions. Exactly. Because she knows, I'm sure that Kanye knows in the heart of heart that there's a problem there. It's an issue. It's an issue plaguing us. But it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to go against what you know fundamentally. It's just not easy to come up with arguments and argue about those things with a straight face because you know the truth. You might deviate, you might try to bring nonsensical analogies, but you know fundamentally that this thing is a problem. You cannot deny it. So it becomes complex, it becomes difficult to articulate. So no matter how articulate you are, you become tongue-tied when you have to make certain kind of arguments. This one said, wow, I like this. My sister also bleached her skin 9 years back and she was very happy. You could say whatever you wanted to say to her, but she was always walking around with her head held up high. And she's very proud about how her skin has turned out. Well, good for her, but I think that the issue is deeper than the skin. It's psychological, it's subconscious. And for me, that's actually so sad that she's only found happiness now because her skin is lighter. I think it's quite sad. This one said, I do like Kanye. She is very honest about her procedures. However, using 10K a month and the knuckles are still very dark. My 300 rand bleaching cream and serum I used for 2 months and it does the same job and even better. Oh my god. Why are people so mean? Kanye has told you guys that you are bullies. So you're using 300 rand cream and Kanye is spending 10,000 rand and you're saying your procedure is better than hers. You see the kind of bully you are? Did you see the kind of bullying that Kanye is talking about? When now you are wicked. How can you just downgrade Kanye's 10,000 rand procedure like this? It's not fair. Please, let's try to be considerate here. Let's not be bullies. This one said, true dark-skinned people are bullies lately. Going on about people bleaching themselves. Leave other people alone. Fight your own struggles. Just stop. I'm dark-skinned myself and I'm happy with my skin tone. I have my fair share of bullying, but I would never bleach myself. On a more serious note, I don't encourage bullying. I absolutely do not condone bullying. I don't think that anybody should be going to Kanye's space to try and insult her knuckles, or whatever. She's an adult and she has made her decision. She's chosen to do what she wants. And I can only hope that she's fully aware of the risks that come with skin bleaching. Even if she's not aware, she's an adult. Allow her to make her mistakes. She's not your child. So I don't believe that anybody should go and try to insult her or talk down on her because of her life's decisions. But I hope that Kanye does not put the people who are insulting her in the same category as the people who are critiquing what she does and has put out there on the internet. For instance, who is talking here, you guys have not heard me insulting Kanye Bao. I love her. For me, she's talented in her own right and she's made her decisions. I'm never going to insult her. I'm just going to talk about what she said, give my opinion about what she said and what she's done publicly. There's a difference between critiquing and bullying. This one said, I don't condone skin lightening because of the dangers it entails, but people bully us so much for being dark. Dealing with being called ugly, wife material, cause no one will come after us, and other derogatory terms. But when people take the option to change their look, they also have to deal with the discrimination of people telling them that they're not proud to be African. This doesn't only exist in theory, it actually happens. So please don't judge people when they decide to do this. Well, I believe that everybody's free to do what they want. But I also believe that if people were happy with their skin color, they would not change it. For instance, I am happy with my skin color. I'm not trying to change it because I'm already happy with it. If I felt like there was something wrong with my skin, then I'll be working towards changing it. That's the point. So I don't think that if you're bleaching your skin, you're exactly happy with your skin color. And another thing I'd like to address is the proud to be African. From the way I see it, right, I believe that people don't necessarily have a problem with being African. Most Africans, in my opinion, are quite okay to be Africans. But it's the skin tone. They want to be lighter. They want to be a lighter shade. They don't want to stop being African, but they just want to have lighter skin. I think that's what it is. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. But I think this thing is not about erasing the fact that you are African. It's about lightening your skin and just being a fairer African, not a black skin-colored African. I think that's what skin bleaching is all about. This one said, I'm dark-skinned and it's actually really painful how people call it out to me every single day like there's something wrong with me. I remember in high school, one teacher looked at me and said, Kuzviba, which means charcoal, and the whole class screamed and laughed at me. It's so damaging, but you can't run away from it as African people are just so ignorant. They hate it when you're dark-skinned, but they'll still be on your case when you decide to bleach your skin. You just never belong. Just do what you want to do. It's so difficult to get a job when you're dark-skinned. It's ridiculous. Oh my God. In as much as it's so dangerous, right? We also understand why people do these things. In some circumstances, your skin color is directly linked to your source of income. In a nutshell, if you're not light-skinned, you'll go hungry. It's just so sad. It's unbelievable. But it's a reality. These are things that happen. And for the fact that a teacher, you're supposed to be an educator, and you're calling someone Kuzviba, charcoal. Charcoal. Can you imagine how damaging that can be for a child? And I remember when we were growing up, there'll always be this dark child in class that's always been made fun of. It's always like, oh, blackhead or devil, or if they switch off the light, the only thing they're going to see are your teeth. There's always that very dark child in class who is like the butt of all the jokes. It's ridiculous and it's sad. Just imagine 15 years ago, who are the 5-year-old kids that were being brought up by their parents 15 years ago? They're probably us on the internet making videos today and talking to people about skin bleaching. It's just sad that the teacher said that and the children cheered, they laughed, they found it funny. I wonder if there was a child in that classroom that could not relate to the joke because it had never been thought that someone with black skin is supposed to be the butt of the joke. If there was a child who did not find that joke funny, I applaud the parents. I hope there was a child who did not find the joke funny, whose parents had taught them that black is beautiful, is something to aspire to, who could not relate to the joke because the parents had taught them that black skin is also beautiful. I wonder if there was. This one said, where do I start? She completely missed the point. This one said, the entertainment industry has much more influence on young people than the UN. So it's imperative for it to broadcast views that build up their self-esteem and their overall view of themselves. They should be able to see themselves represented correctly and not be subjected to stereotypes. I feel like the interviewer was not asking the right questions and Kanye was contradicting herself in some aspects. But I think the interviewer was good. I think he was asking the right question. But I also think that Kanye is well prepared for this kind of interviews. She has somewhat of a sandwich consisting of valid points, word salad, and valid points. The next one said, hi Kanye, no man. No. I feel like you made the interview about you and defending yourself for bleaching your skin. I know you feel attacked and judged for your choices. It's not fair, sure, but this wasn't about you. You absolutely missed the point. Exactly. For me, I would have loved it if Kanye just stepped back and said things objectively. Just talk as though it's not an attack on you. But as I earlier mentioned, it must be quite difficult for people who indulge in skin bleaching to talk about skin bleaching objectively because it would forever feel like it's an attack on their insecurity. It's an insecurity. They are not bleaching their skin because they're happy with it. They are bleaching their skin because they're insecure about it. Just imagine that you're insecure about how your eyes look and you have to go there and talk about how you felt like your eyes were so ugly, so you had to do A, B, C, D to your eyes for them to look more appealing. Can you imagine how vulnerable that will make you feel? It's not easy to talk about. I understand where she's coming from because it's not an easy topic. It's just, I cannot imagine going to talk about my biggest insecurity and what I did to fix it in front of the whole world. Oh my gosh. For any normal person, it's going to be quite embarrassing. And you just have to be very intentional about distancing yourself and talking objectively about the topic in question. This one said, "Hi Bo, what the heck is global woman? Looking lighter, straight hair and getting straight nose means you're global? LOL. I wish she could have just stuck to the whole preference arguments. She prefers to look closer to a white person because it's what beauty looks like to her. Fine, to each their own. But that global woman and wearing less makeup argument doesn't make any sense to me. 0 cents. Exactly. For me, it would have been better if she just said, oh, I do it because this is what I want to do. I feel like I look nicer like this. It's okay. It's okay to say that. I feel like you can easily replace global woman with white woman. Just say I want to look more like a white woman. That sounds better. What is global woman? Guys, if you know what global woman means, let me know in the comment section down below. Let's take the second to the last comment that says, what the F? 10 minutes of her trying to justify her obvious self-hate. First of all skin bleaching is extremely toxic and illegal in most parts of the world. How this is even a conversation on TV blows my mind. She says that she had to bleach her skin in order to make it. But in reality, that is so untrue. She landed her first big role with absolutely no experience, natural dark skin tone, and no surgery. I googled her and found out that her first big role was a huge soap opera back in the day when she was dark with no surgery. And guys, look at your screen for a second. I'm going to put up a picture of how Kanye looked like before all these bleaching and surgeries. She was absolutely stunning, and she looked like drama. You know that kind of person that she looks like a dynamite. That's what she looked like before all this. So the person goes on to say, in SA, 80% of the population is black, with 30% of them unemployed and 60% of them living under the poverty line. On the other hand, 8% of the population is white, with 6% of them unemployed and 2% of them living under the poverty line. That is the result of a country built on colorism and white supremacy. And in that country, she says publicly with no shame that she spends a fortune to look whiter because that's the way she's found to make it and become rich, while more than half of our community lives in poverty. That is so sad. This one said, the problem here is that if the entertainment is saying that light skin is beautiful, then they are telling these young kids that you are only beautiful if you are light. Unfortunately, people in general look up to people in the entertainment industry, so therefore they play a big role in influencing the society. So we cannot accept this at all. Am I the only one that is upset that we are still being oppressed by these ideologies? But only that this time around it's more serious because it's psychological. If a black man still thinks that they are only beautiful because they are light, then it means that we still think that white people are better than us. So it's our responsibility to reject this. It is the responsibility of our entertainment industry to change that mindset by bringing in some sort of balance and stopping this colorism. It's a serious thing. It's called self-hate. This person has just spoken my mind. You remember how I spoke about producers coming out to say, look, let's balance this thing out. Can we get some talented and performant black girls to come and balance this thing out? It's not hard. We need to decide to do these things because we cannot expect the people on the top of the hierarchy right now to come and help us balance things out. We at the bottom are supposed to say, no, look at this. This is our society. This is our lives. These are our communities. We are going to correct this mindset. We are going to abandon that which has been taught to us by colonizers, the former colonizers, and we are going to adopt this sane, balanced, real ideology that black skin is beautiful. The burden lies on our shoulders. Okay, guys, I'm taking a rash decision right now. I intended for this to be a video, a 40-minute video, but from what I'm seeing, it's impossible. That would be very unrealistic. We'll just have somewhat of a series where we talk about skin bleaching. In these videos, we'll basically react to the skin bleaching video, read some comments, and share our opinions along the way. We upload every Thursdays and Sundays at 5 p.m. GMT. So I'm just going to get these videos into our regular upload schedule. Welcome to our skin bleaching segment.